If I squeeze at 100%, which everyone is good at squeezing at 100% for 10 seconds, but what people aren't good at is squeezing at 20 to 30 to 40% over a span of 5 to 6 to maybe even 10 minutes if that's how long your match is. Okay guys, let's talk about closed loops and the law of irradiation when it comes to jiu-jitsu. Now, anytime I can lock my hands or my legs and close a shape around my partner, we're gonna call this a closed loop. The law of irradiation, it has to do with bringing tension into your body and irradiating that tension within yourself. When we're doing mobility drills, this is really important because when I irradiate tension and I squeeze everything together, it helps me articulate joints in a better segmented way. When we're using the law of irradiation for jiu-jitsu, we're always thinking about trying to make our tension last for minutes rather than seconds. If I squeeze at 100%, which everyone is good at squeezing at 100% for 10 seconds, but what people aren't good at is squeezing at 20 to 30 to 40% over a span of 5 to 6 to maybe even 10 minutes if that's how long your match is. So let's look at this in the context of, okay, I've got TJ's back, say this is early in the match, and I've locked a closed loop body triangle around TJ here, okay? From this position, if I have no tension on my legs and I'm not squeezing my legs, it's gonna be really easy for TJ to start to manipulate my knees and get his hips out. If I just give him even just a little bit of a 20% squeeze here, it's a little bit harder for TJ to go. If I squeeze as hard as I can, maybe I'll make TJ feel really uncomfortable, but if he's a dog, he's just gonna hold on to that tension. He's not gonna tap to me just squeezing my legs, okay? So we know that if I go 100%, I'm gonna gas out. So if I can get used to just holding TJ at 20% for 6 minutes, right? So I got his back, he's a talented guy, I wanna stay on the back for the whole 6 minutes. I'm gonna need to pace myself with my squeeze and my irradiation. So say I'm at 20% and then TJ starts to escape, maybe then I go to 40% and I hold at 40, right? Maybe I start to get closer to my finish and now I wanna take all the air out of TJ's lungs. I start to go from 40 to 50 to 60. This law of irradiation is really gonna benefit your jiu-jitsu because you're gonna be able to pace your squeeze and articulate when you wanna start to go for chokes and when you wanna start to hold people. Let's look at this from mount. So although this is not like a closed loop where my legs are wrapped around each other, I have the floor here and I'm using the floor to close this loop. If I have no tension on my legs and TJ starts to elbow escape here, it's gonna be really easy for him to get my knees up. But when I feel TJ escaping and I start to squeeze 20%, it's just a little bit harder for him to get in. And if he really starts to escape and go as hard as he can, then I can start to hunker down and I can start to irradiate to 40 to 50 to 60% to hold him tight in this loop. That's gonna help my mount, my back, even if I get TJ in cross ashy here and I close this loop, right? If I keep a tight squeeze on his legs and I squeeze as hard as I can, my legs will gas out, and the second they do, he's gonna push my knee line and he's gonna be gone. But if I can grab TJ and hold him at 20%, I can start to do stuff, collect the secondary leg. TJ feels a lot more stuck here. When he starts to move, it's a little bit harder. When he starts to push my knee line, it's tough for him to push my knee line just because I'm squeezing and irradiating tension the whole time.